After India has raised objection to the Canadian side on the number of diplomats present in Delhi or in other parts of the country where the mission of Canadian government is working, now it seems that several dozens of Canadian diplomats are packing their bag and move out from India and going back to their countries. This has come in the wake of latest diplomatic spat that we have seen between India and Canada ever since Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, stood in the floor of the parliament and leveled some serious allegations against Indian government, saying that he has credible allegations that there was some role of Indian agencies in killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar in the month of June. Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a terrorist from Khalistani outfit, was killed in June in a parking lot of Surrey Gurudwara, and since then the investigations have not revealed much or something that has not been shared in the public domain as to what kind of direction the investigation has taken so far and what kind of suspects have been identified in this case. But there has not been any arrest that has been made. People or those who have been the eyewitness, their accounts has not been taken into consideration with that much of seriousness, and this is something that the Washington Post article has also raised, that the people or the community at large there in Surrey is not being happy with the kind of investigation that RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, has conducted in the entire killing episode of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Nevertheless, what prompted Justin Trudeau has been, by the Indian side, said that it's the domestic compulsion of the Justin Trudeau government that is forcing him to go ahead or be kind of sympathetic to the Khalistani group and not act against these groups. But with the latest allegation, we saw that there has been a lot of initiative or steps that has taken by Indian side also, Canadian side also, and has been, brought down the diplomatic relationship to a very low point. India has issued a safety and security advisory for its citizens. India has also kind of restricted the movement of its diplomat in Canada, and it has stopped processing application for visa from the Canadian citizen. It has also asked the Canadian diplomats to go back the number of extra diplomats that is here, and it's a normal understanding between the two countries that they will always maintain the diplomatic parity in number of strength and ranks. There are three kinds of, broadly speaking, three kinds of people who work in any embassy or any mission. First is the diplomat who have a diplomatic immunity. The second category is the official people, official who work on an official visa, but they do not have the diplomatic immunity and they can be very well from the guest country. The third category is the people who are recruited on the ground from the host country. And in this case, what India has asked that the Canadian side should curtail down the number of diplomats that it has sent to India in various occasions. And what kind of bearing it may have? It may have bearing in terms of number of visas that are being processed every year, number of the kind of activities that these diplomats do in terms of social, economical, political, trade and commerce, and defense ties and all aspects that kind of constructs the entire bilateral dimension between the two sides is going to be hampered by this latest decision. Also, we have seen Canadian side already putting a pause button on the free trade agreement that was being negotiated between the two sides. So probably they already had in mind what they are going to go do in the coming days, and just days before the announcement made by the Prime Minister Trudeau, this pause on free trade agreement was also done. So these are the things that are going to impact the India-Canada bilateral relationship, and with the kind of removal that the diplomats of Canada are now to have, and their number is going to go down in India. Clearly, the number about 2 lakh students which every year go to Canada for study. The number of people or the families who happens to be in Canada and they keep coming back and to India to meet their family and friends. Those people-to-people engagement, those education sector involvement by the Indian side, that is going to be impacted. But how long will the frost between the two sides bilateral relationship will continue? That remains to be seen, because the world is watching very carefully. Canada happens to be a very close ally to the West, and India happens to be a very important ally for the West in this region geopolitically, because of the entire Indo-Pacific dynamics or geostrategic dynamics that is unfolding in the recent years. So clearly the West and USA would not like either side, India and Canada, to continue with the kind of tumultuous relationship that they are having right now. And But at the same time, they would not like to mediate between the two sides as well, because it is very bilateral in nature, the kind of conflict that the two sides is having in terms of allegation that has been leveled by the Canadian side, and also the kind of steps that India has taken to kind of degrade the diplomatic relationship with India. How long will it continue? That we'll have to see, but it is going to clearly have some bearing on the people-to-people engagement, and with hundreds and thousands of people who have been living in Canada from the Indian side, who have been visiting India to meet their family and friends, and of course, number of tourists also who used to come to India. So this entire diplomatic row is taking its toll in multiple direction or multiple dimension of the bilateral relationship between India and Canada.